So we're trying to get you down to the normal level of where you should be on your animated characteristics. You got like 87 million different characteristics where you making a political life of your own, and sharing more of a Marvel characteristics or Are We There Yet characteristics, Monsters Inc., Incredibles, Pop Tarts, you showing a lot of Papa John's, the more of the common bonus features of, the most important, the most famous, the most talented minds and creators in the industry right now of 1986 to 2049. And that's basically what you want to be able to increase at the moment. Being able to use $86,649 for trans tax towards 691 different Chevy Silverado 2018. And that's basically where the OnStar analysis started to kick in, as you using that, and you being able to use it worth of $86,649. And it goes with PlayStation 5 and Spotify as well. So you got those companies to play with, and have a recreational time with your 865 hours a week. So you can have a little extra emphasis that create a better lifestyle to keep you more exhilarated and advanced in your urban day architecture. So that's working with $86,649 trans tax of maximum performance. And basically what we want to do is just add numbers like $38,889 in tens. We want to be able to put that, and it's basically coming from the stock you sell at Catfish Industries, and it's basically where you're getting 699 shrimp, 899 chicken strips, and basically going on with 649 chicken strips, 649 catfish strips. And that's basically where you start in one whole term or one whole set of how things are sold at the time. And it's working on a whole year of a month of of possibilities that you can get conserved to your choice or decision. And that's basically where you want to be able to use your 2015 analysis, and be able to be more liberty spoken, as far as being able to have much leisure as far as 1965 to 1995, 1965 to 1995, where you're just keeping it cozy, and being able to deal with the warmth of the urban day infrastructure. So basically all of that, we're just talking about the careers that I plan on getting out of my I-35 Texas bound type deal. So we're just staying cozy for right now, and being able to think of all the necessary duties that I need to be able to keep my composure and stay optical towards the business that I like, and being able to conduct that, as well as combine like terms with it, and use process of elimination when I want to subtract information, and be able to gather acknowledgments about it, and be able to speak it out 12 years later, and be able to become a representative of not only the state of Texas, but the city of aviation. And it's basically where you're making more compounds of the synonyms that capitalize nationalism, and being able to understand what nationalism is and how it conducts with ECOLEAF and many more of its subscribed networks of LinkedIn inspired in talents. So, with that being said, we use the satellites to use a modern day reflective of the atmospheres that we use today, and what we use more of the majority. So we're using 364 gallons of it. So it's basically where you will be able to mark it as the end of the party. By the end of the party, 364 gallons of juice would have been drunken up, most predominantly 977% of the time. So you're looking at most benefits like that on geological traits, and more of chemical sciences, and yeah, more of that. So you're using process of elimination and separation powers, which is $87.47 every month. That you're full. You got about $6,888 on you. So you just adding $87.47 every week to make a greater essential as a U.S. representative or a U.S. congressman. So that's basically what we're using at that time to promote more towards Monsters Inc., Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! So we're using more of that to embroadenate the lifestyle of 2002 to 2014, which is a trial done by DWL, and more into Elizabeth Ney, and being able to explore and expand the mindset of Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, and Malcolm X, Nicolas Cage, John Travolta, Adam Sandler, Sandra Bullock, and Billy Bob Thornton, and Ben Affleck. So yeah, we're just watching tunes on that so far, all on that, and being able to judge the differences and dimensions of what characteristics that they have, and being able to match it up with what they do in the real life, and being able to judge how they how they how they judge their opposition at the time of when they needed to do something, and how they did it, and how did it look after the initiative was completed. And it's basically a good runner up of a good example of how to watch things like that, and it's basically what you gotta do for the majority of the time. So with that being said, you just gotta pay attention to Comcast, Hulu, and Vine to get more characteristics towards EcoLeaf and EcoHerb, and more towards more towards PMC2 squared, and understanding more of PMC2 squared, which gives you 362 dimes a hour. So it's basically giving you more of a conceptive look for Amazon Enterprise, Aquatics Division, Tax Office, Restaurant Depot. So yeah, with all that being said, you only can be a certain such of detail, and this it involves less movement but more paperwork. So with that being said, I've messed with W2s, invoice, and bill statements, which is a certain region of where the client is from and who does majority of the eco herb takeouts, and being able to involved in an advisory with that is more compliable with my new system work that works beyond Bastrop and Kyle. And that's basically where you're giving out a meal deal between that of 2002 to 2014. So with that being said, it's something that's outstanding to the point where it's nuclear acknowledged all over the planet like that. So we use different assets to promote those values, so we can always have something more central, intelligent to make us feel more at home and more casual, and being able to understand more towards symmetry of Earth. So that's basically what I gained out of going to Sam Houston and knowing more about 6909 miles at a time. That's basically almost, barely getting to Sam Houston on a moderate exchange. So that's about 78% right there of an overall rating. So, that's basically where we got our upkeep as far as having $98,628 invested in sponsorships like Sam Houston and Spotify and in EcoHerb and those companies as well. So with that being said, me leading the group with my birthdays and Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter, we're doing a lot as far as that, and I'm getting some from almost every corporate organization, and that's basically what we want to do to celebrate our birthdays and holiday seasons, as well as we get more into Monsters Inc. Incredibles, and eat Pop Tarts on a natural day basis. So working with that, we're still at a capital reserve initiative, and we're working with 691 different propositions, which is in the city, county, state that we're in. And that's just a more look of sub-Saharan of Austria Lagoon, which is just a proposition in Texas, which is in Central Texas of 1856 to 2056, and it's basically where it's working on is its whole commercialism, as far as having more subscriptions to add, and more Twix, more availability to have a Twix that you want. So it's not unlike it being 1861. It's like 9621, which means is more of a more urban, updated file of a sort. So it gives you more prominent data to invest in your 8727 series, which is pretty much like a Cadillac, a Cadillac, yep. But anyways, so we start off with capital reserve, and at that capital reserve, instead of being a U.S. congressman or a U.S. Representative, I wanted to be a Secretary of State, which is already in play of 87, 47 different positions in the Capitol and Mr. Catfish, and that's basically where we using a whole bunch of money dialogues to make $87,792 equipped, and that's basically where we're using data collector as an investment, district management hazard collection, and inventory specialist, software engineering, and those are the clear jobs that I like, that I get across just fine with, and I don't mind spending the next 30 or 50 to 80 years doing, as long as I have a complete compromise, which I do. That's about 847 different subscriptions of what I do on my daily basis that controls the state of my proposition F451, which is more than 8,717 different subscriptions and intersections with propositions with other council propositions with it, and it just shares this rays of aerospace. So with that being said, it turns into 2026, and it's basically where you're learning more about whether you should get a BMW or a Lexus in 2018 to 2024. And that's basically where you're looking more updated, and basically ready to put in compounds of at least $38,899. You can do that 331 times. So you make that a jurisdiction of your own characteristics when you're making 331 boxes, and that is a known number. So you might as well make that on the 38 position of the sets that you use. One of the 38 sets that you use. So it'd be a combination of a common attributed um, digit under $36,658 net worth. So that's just giving up brief information that gives ingredients of the profitabilization, more recognition. So that's basically where we do that and give positive acknowledgments 648 times a year. And that's basically you rolling and making sure you have the positive importance that you inspire to have with your Cadillac CTSV analysis. That runs about 819 vehicles down the line, especially the 2023 version of Cadillac CTSV. That's an ultimate decision, an ultimate automobile as well. Okay, and main point in time, of the day of where you worked on your career and how you invested in your time was you worked on biology, so that had a lot about carbohydrates and genotypes and many other sorts of styles of fashion that work in the body that shows a certain hunger for a certain such of calories and um, carbohydrates, and that's basically where you want to be able to design food to have exactly what you want it to have. So that's basically what EcoHerb does as well, to make a better company for itself, and that's just another unit. So you got like 331 units. You basically building up sets of stacks that you need to be able to understand and understand more about the square units that it updates with. So you got biology, and you got U.S. government, where you're talking about federalism, capitalism, and even more monotheistic traits, and being able to point it out and understand that you got many different sorts of it, and it's basically where you're working on 87,649 versions of capitalism. They could be going all types of ways, particularly of 1961. So you watch that. So you got world coaches, and you looking at what is the population the urban population. So you got looking at that, and then you got economics, macroeconomics, where you're working on more of a real estate building, and being able to produce sales and balances. So with that, you got money forms. With that, you got money forms that represent PMC2 square status statistics. So with that being said, you got about 86,756 as a total profile on Adobe and ADP and Cisco and PFG. You got it in different profiles, so it just works as a dime. But overall, it do calculate as the full payment, and it comes after 2 or 3 weeks. So you just got to give it time to download and process, and be able to understand more towards the prominent infrastructure of F5451, and you get those codes in that profile. So that's basically how you can understand more about payment and understanding more about purchasing items for the individuals. And that's basically where you're showing more wealth status of having $33 million of trans tax, which is inspired by eco-herb transitions. And with this man said, you just still practicing shots of aerospace in the universe. Where you just traveling 36,691 miles of the state, and being able to add different descriptions to the topic that and being able to follow your occupation through 69,691 yards. So that's basically where you following more of a fellowship occupation of 391% versus 69,691%. So we're doing good. We got to be able to be more distinctive, and be more appalled to how we want to endorse the fact. You got to be able to make a bold imprint, but still make a light significance with it. Be able to uh, show cinematic or show animated deals with it, and still show that it's a quote of the day.